The head of Italy's Democratic Party has tested positive for the new coronavirus. Nicola Zingaretti, the first leading Italian politician, confirmed to have the disease. 2 councillors in the Lombardy province of Italy have tested positive last week. Zingaretti has made the announcement of his testing in a Facebook video.
È arrivato, anche io ho il coronavirus, ovviamente mi attengo e sarò seguito secondo tutti i protocolli che sono previsti in questi casi per tutte e per tutti, sto bene e quindi è stato scelto l'isolamento domiciliare, continuerò da casa a seguire quello che potrò seguire tranquillamente, la mia famiglia anche sta seguendo quelli che sono i protocolli che si seguono in queste situazioni, la ASL sta contattando veramente le persone che in questi giorni sono state più vicine al lavoro per i colloqui e per le verifiche del caso. Ho informato ovviamente il vicepresidente Leodori della giunta regionale per mandare avanti il lavoro, così come il vice segretario del PT Orlando con gli organismi in carica seguirà tutte le attività politiche. Io ho sempre detto niente panico, combattiamo e quanto mai in questo momento darò il buon esempio seguendo alla lettera quelle che sono le disposizioni dei medici e della scienza, tentando di dare una mano lavorando da casa per quello che sarà possibile e combatto come è giusto fare in questo momento per ciascuno di noi e per tutto il Paese. Quindi a presto. Ciao.
Italy is now the 4th highest coronavirus hit country in the world after China, South Korea and Iran. The number of fatalities has risen to 197, with more than 4,600 people infected in Italy alone. Despite a lockdown encompassing 11 cities, Italy has not been able to control the outbreak. Over the last 24 hours, the country reported its highest single-day surge in the death toll. The Italian government is preparing new measures, including extending quarantine areas to deal with the biggest outbreak in Europe. The country is now reporting more deaths than even China. Let's also tell you more about the demographic that's been the worst hit. The average age of the deaths so far have been 81 years, and most of them had an underlying medical condition. Only 28% of the fatalities were women. However, the experts in China have ruled out any gender-specific impact from the virus. Globally, the fatality rate of COVID-19 is around 3%, but in Italy, it's much higher at 4.25%. Italy's population is one of the oldest in the world, and this makes the country more vulnerable to the virus. The economy has been crippled by it, and the country is staring at a 4th recession in just 12 years. Ratings agency Moody's slashed its growth forecast for Italy by 1%, and tourism, the mainstay of the economy, has dried up. The crisis has also revealed cracks in the European Union. The Czech Republic has ruled out that all people returning from Italy must be quarantined or face fines. Slovakia has banned all flights to and from Italy, and France, Germany and other EU countries have been accused of curbing exports of medical equipment and isolating Italy in a time of need. Meanwhile, Italy's sporting calendar has become an absolute mess, with multiple delays and matches behind closed doors. The Alpine Skiing World Cup finals and the Formula E race in Rome have been cancelled. Italy's football league, the Serie A's matches are still on track, but the teams will be forced to play without a crowd for the rest of the season. We're now being joined by Stefano Vergine, live from Milan in Italy, for more insights on the story. Stefano is a journalist. Stefano, thank you so much for being with us here on the broadcast on WION World is One. Talk to us about the situation in Italy. The government's measures so far have not been able to control the outbreak. On the contrary, it's getting worse.
Hi, thanks for having me. Well, yes, the number of infected people keeps rising, and that's probably the most worrying aspect. As you said before, today the leader of the Democratic Party has announced that he's been tested positive to the virus. Also, the Vatican has just announced that the Pope is going to deliver his Sunday prayer by live stream tomorrow instead of in person from his window as usual because of the virus. What is the government doing? The government this week ordered the closure of all schools for 10 days till mid-March. All professional sports will be played behind closed doors, but also universities, museums, theaters, and tribunals were forced to be closed. Although the major problem now is, according to the government and the authorities, is the fact that hospitals are about to be overcrowded, especially in the north of Italy, which is the most hit area. And if more people will be infected, hospitals just won't have enough beds for treating everybody. This is why the government decided to close all schools and public places at least for another week in order to contain the spread of the virus. And this is why also the government has just announced today that 20,000 people will be hired from hospitals.
Right. Stefano, talk to us about the situation in Milan in terms of the quarantine measures on the ground in Milan city. Milan is a commercial hub, a fashion hub of Italy and Europe and the world.
Well, yes, the regions that are most hit by the virus are all in the north of Italy. Lombardia, whose capital is Milan, is one of them, but also Veneto and Emilia-Romagna are the other two most hit areas. These are basically the most productive and rich areas of Italy. Therefore, there are high chances that Italy will face a new recession this year. Milan is not under quarantine. There is an area south of Milan, which is close to the city of Lodi, which is under quarantine, and other areas in Veneto. So luckily, Milano at the moment is not under quarantine. However, all the economic activities are seeing bad moments, bars and restaurants, but also factories. Everything is a kind of, downsizing because of the virus, and this is probably one of the things that are most worrying the people. Paradoxically, is probably more the economy than the virus itself that is a reason of fear by the people here.
Stefano joining us live with that perspective straight from Milan in Italy. Thank you, Stefano, for being with us here on the broadcast on WION.
Thank you.
One.